Okay, we're gonna look at how to protect a part of your site where you can put files and pages that you don't want the general public to see. So we're gonna start with, this is just the Qantas IT site, and we're gonna look at the menu, and you can see there's a top level called private, and then under there I have two sub items. This is where the private content it actually lives. So if we go to security vendors, you can see there's an embedded file here, a PDF. And then if we go to cybersecurity games, this is another proprietary file that I don't want the public to see, and it's also there. And there's nothing in private. Private is a top level menu, but it doesn't have a page attached to it. It's the parent of these two pages. Okay, so let's look at how we create that. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to create a special kind of menu item here, and it's called custom links. Normally, all of these, except the ones that say custom links, like the home page, for example, all of these that say page are related to pages that you've already created, and they're actual physical pages that are on your site and that can be accessed through the menu if you add them there. But these top level parents are just like, think of them as a container for the actual content that they're holding inside, but the container itself doesn't have any content. It holds other content. So for example, the home page just goes to the home page, and that's it. For example, let's look at what we're doing down here with private. So private is a custom link, and the way I created it is I went to custom links here, and for the URL, there isn't a URL. You just put in a pound sign, and this is just HTML code for don't go anywhere. There's not a URL. It's void. It doesn't go anywhere. And then the text would be whatever you want that top level to be. So members only, or whatever, and you can add it to the menu and then create pages, put them underneath there, and that's how you want to start. So I'm not going to add this to the menu because we already added one, and it's called private, and I'll show you how it's set up. So if we look at private, if I just click on it, you can see how it's set up. So the URL is the hash sign, and the navigation label is private, and I'm not going to open that up in a new link, in a new tab rather, because it's nothing. It's just a container. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you have to add a custom link, give it a name, and then give it the URL of a pound sign. Okay, so those two things are important. Once that's done, you can click here and you can add it to the menu, which I've already done, and then you could drag it wherever you want. By default, WordPress will put whatever you add to the menu to the bottom, and so you just click and drag it to where you want it. And so here it's all left indented because it's a top level page. And then from there, underneath, you create your other pages. Okay. Now, here's the tricky thing. Notice these are marked as private. Okay, you can see here it's marked as private. When you start though, these pages must be public. So you create the page, make it public, and then move it into position and then mark it private. If you don't do that, when you go here to try to add a page to your menu and it's marked private already, you will not see it in here. It won't be available to select. So you have to create your first step, create your top level container, then create your pages underneath, mark them as public, which is default, put them in place, and then go back and mark them as private. Once you do that, the only way to get to these pages is if you're logged in. So let's go to pages and let's see how that works. So let's see. It's asking me, do I want to save the menu? I really didn't change anything in the menu, but I will save it anyway, just to be safe. Okay, so we're going to go to all pages, and I'm going to show you the pages that are marked private, you can see they have a private next to them. So let's look at this one. And so the way you would make a page, well, let's look at it first. So the way you mark a page private is you go into quick edit for the page. So you create the page first, then you go into quick edit, and then there's a little checkbox here. That makes the page private. So for example, if I wanted Jeff's page here, which now is public because you can see it doesn't have private next to it. If I go to quick edit, I could see that private isn't checked. I would check it as private, and I will update it. So now I have Jeff's page, which is private. I just wanted to show you something here. So if I try to add Jeff's page, which is now private, to the menu, you'll see the problem with doing that ahead of time. So if I go to menus, and search for Jeff's page, it doesn't exist. I can't put it in the menu because it's marked as private, okay? So that's the problem. So to prove that, I'll go back to all pages. I'll go to quick edit. I'll make Jeff's page public again by unchecking private. I'll click update. Now I'm going to go back to appearance, menus, and I'm going to search. You probably already saw Jeff's page show up there. If I search for Jeff now, there is his page. Now it's public. So remember that you have to add the page as public, even if it's going to be private. Get all your pages lined up where you want them, make them public, and then mark them as private. Okay, then you could go in and add your sensitive content after you've done all of this. So you could go into the page just like any other page. So if we go back to all pages, and let's look at the security vendors page, and just go edit. It just edits like any other page does. And from here, let's say, so you could do two things. You could just put your private content in HTML and text here, or you can embed a file. So if you search for file here, then you want to either upload it from your desktop, from your computer, or go to your media library if it's already been uploaded and select it. That's how you want to do that, okay? So I'm going to get out of this. I'm not going to update this page. I just wanted to show you how that works. So I'm going to delete that block. I'm going to update. And I'm going to show you what happens if you are not logged in. So the reason I'm able to get to all of these pages on the front end here is because I'm logged in. So I have an account. But let's say I'm not logged in. I'm just someone on the internet. So I'm going to open up a new incognito window. Now, this means incognito means I'm not logged in. So I'm not logged into the site. So I could still see private. I could still see these menu items. But when I click on security vendors, I get a not found error 404. So even though the menu shows up here, the content is not available. So it would be nice if this menu wouldn't show up at all if I wasn't logged in, but it does. So this is just a function of WordPress, and that's just how it works. So nothing we could do about that, but just to show you that if I'm not logged in, I'm not going to be able to get to that content, even though it's there. And if I can't get to it, that means Google can't index it because Google can't find it either. So it's fairly secure. So that's how you do it. If you have any questions, reach out to us or your district trainer. Thank you.